Here in California, these giant redwoods can get up to 113 meters tall. That's 370 feet. These are some of the tallest trees in the world. It's hard to believe that a tree this enormous may have started from a seed that was just this small. So, how does a redwood seed get the energy that it needs to survive and be able to grow into a huge tree like that? Really, how do all living things get the energy that they need to survive? Some living things get the energy they need from the food they eat. So where does all this energy come from anyway? First, we need to pinpoint the source of energy. I mean, look at this huge living tree. It must need tons of energy to do everything that living things need to do. And there's only one source of energy that's big enough to handle the job, and that's up there. But sunlight is not in a form that cells can use. Life on Earth needs a huge energy converter to change the solar energy into something that cells can use. And that's where plants come in. Plants absorb solar energy and convert it into chemical energy that's stored in the food they make. When animals eat plants, they're really taking in converted solar energy. Well, that's the big picture. Now, let's begin a journey to take a closer look at how this solar energy conversion takes place. To begin to understand solar energy conversion, we need to look at that famous process called photosynthesis. A solar panel is like the leaves on a plant, but the leaves on a plant absorb solar light energy by using pigments. These specialized pigments work extra hard to absorb that light energy. And those pigments are called, chlorophyll. The next step is to make something similar to this. It's sugar. The sugar we're all used to is a complex sugar called sucrose, which is made of more than one type of sugar. Plants use one of the sugars in sucrose for energy. It's called glucose, and they make it themselves out of sunlight, carbon dioxide, and water. Now get this. Glucose is a type of organic compound called a carbohydrate. It contains the elements oxygen, hydrogen, and carbon. Remember the solar energy a plant absorbs? Well, much of the energy is eventually stored right there as chemical energy in the bonds of glucose molecules. And glucose is plant food. Plant cells break down the glucose during cell respiration. As the bonds are broken, stored energy is released. Plants use the energy to grow, produce flowers, and all the other stuff that plants do. So that explains how plants get and use energy. They make their own food, which makes them autotrophs. But what about animals? And what about us? We can't get energy by absorbing sunlight. It's clear that we get our food in a different way. That's why animals are identified as heterotrophs, because of what we do best, eat. By eating, we're taking in energy-containing molecules with stored chemical energy. The food we eat is broken down during digestion, and the nutrients are delivered to all the cells in our bodies. Then, our cells break apart bonds, and the chemical energy is released. Yep, that's right. Animals carry out cell respiration too. The difference is that autotrophs, they make the sugars they need for cell respiration. While us heterotrophs, we gotta eat. There are a couple of important phases in cell respiration. First, glucose from the food we eat enters the cytoplasm of the cell and gets broken down. Then, inside the mitochondria, the small molecules react with oxygen, giving off water, carbon dioxide, and a ton of energy, including heat. So now we understand how autotrophs are able to harness the light energy from the sun by converting it through the process of photosynthesis to chemical energy. The food that these trees made and the food that I just ate are then broken down through the processes of cellular respiration. This tree uses that food so it can grow really tall and way high and huge, while I'm using the energy so I can climb. Just another reason to never stop exploring your world. Want a fun way to test if light is necessary for photosynthesis? Well, first, you need to take a couple green leaves, like this, and come on over here. Use a hole punch to make a couple dozen leaf discs. Put a dozen of the discs each in 2 separate cups filled with water. Push the leaves down so they sink in the water. Then, put 1 cup in some sunlight and the other cup in a dark closet. After a few hours, take a look at both cups. If you see bubbles on the discs in one of the cups, you are seeing evidence that photosynthesis took place. I'll leave it up to you and your teacher to figure out why.